Thoughts on the X100VI? The name is difficult. Today we're going to be wandering around with the Fuji X100VI in what feels like the first day of spring. It's still in that awkward phase where you're too hot and too cold at the same time, but perfect day for street photography. People are out and about, there's stories to tell. So let's go do some laps. What does it look like from top down? That's surprisingly clean. Some dew gonna walk in frame. Light and dark. People seem to be flying out from there. Let's try and just wait. This guy's jacket is right. This girl's bag is some sort of colour. This is part of the art of the fishing, right? Or finding a scene that you think has potential. Just waiting around until something you like happens. Often it doesn't, but it helps us as creatives, right? It helps us to think about how we would iterate, how we would practice. It's nice just to be able to point your camera at things, work a scene, make things look nice. Green light, green bike, blue sand, 2 blue sands. Circle behind, circle, circle. I think that's clean-ish. Because it's a Thursday, I find that shooting like in Central in the morning, there's not a lot really going on. But coming to like the city, there's so many people because it's everyone like going to work. And you kind of have to shoot in like a slightly different way and tell different stories. Because a lot of it is like, you've got to be thinking about like the juxtaposition of the corporate worker versus the resident versus other locals. Because you don't really get tourists around here, right? And so you just got to be in like a slightly different mindset. You're not looking for the weird stuff that usually happens like around Central. We're looking for those like subtler stories. And I think you have to work your brain a little harder, perhaps. I feel like papping someone eating porridge is always a bit harsh because no one can eat food and look good in the process of doing it. That looks fucking wank. Is this gonna work? Not at all. And the smoke is gone. My camera literally pressed the shutter button 3 times and it wouldn't focus. What? And so that guy over there who's reading, that looks really good. Right, we need to wait for there to be a little bit of space around him because someone's gone right behind. I want to try using repeating elements to make him stand out. But that guy stops in the perfect wrong position. Okay, let's go. We'll make our way over here and check our settings. Probably slap up the aperture to hope. Okay, the guy next to him is moving on. We've got loads of people.
So why are you taking photographs?
Pardon? Because it's street photography. That is why. It's fun, it's interesting, it's practice. Not weird. I'm weird, but oh, more people joining our friend. Perfect. It locks up again. The camera not locked up, but just went, Okay, actually no. I tell a lie. I actually got an alright photo. You see it? What I'm gonna do, put my aperture up to f13. Gonna go for 0 depth, but we're gonna do a sweep past. Alright. Make sure settings are right. Get focus point in the middle. Wait there to be a little gap. Okay.
But it's just a shame, like.
Classic Mike Chudley favourite. So if you join a scene, no one thinks you can take photos of them. I really want a cowboy hat. Like, how sick would it be just to have a cowboy hat?
It should be a good challenge, like, shoot streak while wearing a cowboy.
Well, that just means you have to go to Texas. I don't want. I wish the escalator was just slightly taller, because I hate that like slither of light at the top. Like, I had no idea what I was doing there. But yeah, so like, every now and then you get people walking along here, and I guess I try and track underneath them.
There's something kind of creepy about it.
Yeah, literally. It's like, how often do you see someone like from like properly underneath? I feel like it's also like chaotic. So this is absolutely rinsing through my batteries. Usually, I would have, I mean, not even broken like a bar. So like what, 25% of the battery? But this is like nearly done. I've only been shooting for, what, 2 hours maybe? I think that I always find that every time I shoot in like high ISO, the battery goes way quicker. And so, because the weather's been going in and out, I've been shooting at high ISO. Maybe that's the issue rather than the camera itself. Nah. In Paulie B's recent walkie-talkie with Jack R, he gets lots of top downs of boats. So he always gets really square on. This one's moving quick. Ah. Wave to me, guys. I mean, you got people waving. Can't do that on the Golden Gate, can you?
You love this spot.
Yeah. Well, because my train comes in, it's over there. Oh, I like the blue and blue and blue. And then her hair is contrasting. Yeah. Do it again. I can't see my screen. So often, if someone does a gesture once, they're likely to do it again. And so this guy put his leg up. Is it guy? This girl, couldn't see her head. She put her leg up and did like a nice like split squat lunge thing. So hopefully they can do it again. I'm not sure whether all of this needs to be prefaced with the fact that I'm so used to the X100V that anything outside of that will just feel a bit weird. But the autofocus on this so far hasn't been what I expected, because I had a filter on it, the Short Stash Pro Mist and Polarizer, and I was missing focus all the time. I was always focusing on the things behind. And then I was like, okay, well, I'll remove that and see what it's like. And to be completely honest, it still keeps missing. And it might just be that I'm so used to the limitations of the V, because I didn't find the autofocus that bad, that this is just working a slightly different way with different algorithms, whatever, and I haven't got used to it. But I'm slightly annoyed. Is that fair? This light is mad. So we've got hard actual sunlight against the background, and then this is all reflected light, but it's nearly as bright. So we're gonna get some weird silhouettes in shape. So yeah, we're being front lit and back lit all in one. but I suppose we can only get silhouettes here. Every time we go out and shoot street, we're always doing a blend of like hunting, which is wandering around, finding interesting subjects and shooting them as we see them, as well as fishing, where it's like this, where we're sat around, we're waiting and we're trying to like work a frame. On days where the vibe is good, things are happening, then it's like, cool, let's go out hunt, let's go tell these stories. Okay, this guy's looking cool. Go on, sir, go on, sir. And some days, there's just a good feeling in the air and there's lots of interesting things happening all the time. Whereas on other days, like today, it feels like nothing's really going on. Go on, take photos, go on. This is so interesting to you, let's take photos. It didn't manifest hard enough. Manifest. If you find a scene that you like, think about it, try develop it, try work on it, and try get interesting photos that way. The light is now gradually moving further round, and so this light is like changing shape. So previously I was going higher because the light was more stretched that way, but now I'm going lower so I can try and include all of this light frame in a single image. And I actually think this is better. Yeah, this is definitely a nicer frame. So people often ask, like, how do you come and shoot the same spaces? Do you not get bored? And I personally don't, because I think that you're able to figure out scenes that look nice. And so now I know that roughly at this time of day, 11:30, during the start of April, on a sunny day, you get this really nice, interesting pocket of light. And whilst the subjects may not be perfect now, I know if I come back in a couple of days, I might have like the most interesting subject ever and get like those like one-off images. I think a lot of it is just like, it's just being a bit more patient, because your mindset kind of flips, right? Because when you're out hunting, you're looking for the interesting subject, and when something interesting happens, you pap it. Whereas when you're fishing, you're then focusing much more on the composition, and you're hoping that an interesting subject comes into your frame. It's funny because like so often you feel like you're wasting your time, because you're like, there's no story here, nothing's happening, I've been waiting here for 5 minutes, I'm not even sure whether it's that good photo, everyone walking past is boring, maybe everyone who's going to continue walking past will also be boring. And you kind of have this like, I suppose it's like inner conflict, perhaps. But then at the same time, it's also like weirdly meditative? Is that how you say it? I think so, meditative. Yeah, you're not rushing around and you're purely in the moment, right? And you're just considering like, okay, how could I make this better? It's almost like the opposite of everyday life, right? We've got so much stuff in our calendars, on our to-do lists, everything, that everything's like, no, gotta be hustling for it. But then when you're fishing, you just kind of like wait near a scene, maybe something happens. If you get a good photo, great. If you don't, it's not the end of the world. And I think that if you just fish, you should try hunting. And if you just hunt, you should try fishing. And I think that it opens up like a new world of photography. Let's try slow shutter in broad daylight. Is that even possible? Okay, 1 second we can't do. All right, 6 seconds is looking okay. 6 seconds, I mean 1/6. I mean, it kind of works. The image is hella boring. All right, let's try some 1/6 slow shutter. Test his ibis. Okay, this guy's walking pretty consistently. To be fair, you would never be able to get that on the V. If it was weirdly sparse. Oh shit, they're running. There's part of me that's like, yeah, is ibis that useful?
How much do you think you would use it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hiya.
The Fuji film X100VI.
It is indeed. Yeah, it's quite fun. What are you shooting with?
This is a camera that my company
Oh
does.
shit.
It's just a micro four thirds camera, but it
Okay.
attaches to your phone.
I think I've seen Are you the founder?
Yeah. Yeah, what we're trying to do is basically close that gap between smartphones and people who are interested in cameras, maybe like the Fuji.
See, that is what happens when you wander around the little X100. But yeah, I think that's one of the best things about like being out and about in the world is in like the digital age that we're in. Digital feedback sucks. But having like genuine interactions with people is so rewarding. Is there anything we can match with the tube? Why are you looking down?
No, and there's a message to me about.
Have we got anything?
It's the worst thing in the world.
Maybe one, maybe two photos that are like all right. But today is much more about exploring this, seeing what it can do, and just getting out and enjoying the sunshine. Always thinking, always thinking. Go on, backlit, backlit, backlit.
I think I'm going to believe her. And like us,
They're kind of twigging. It was good when she had it like all out in the open. There's a guy with a football. Is there anything football related nearby? Let's get on the far side so we can turn around and shoot. I mean, very generic. It's a photo of a ball. I think that if you're looking to get an X100, whether you get this or the V, you're pretty much gonna have the same experience. Maybe if you really like shooting slow shutter stuff, prioritize the 6. I mean, I shoot loads of slow shutter stuff, and obviously it's nice, but like, would I upgrade? If I was thinking about it from like a smart consumer perspective, I don't know, the V was pretty spot on, but the 6 is just a slight refinement. So it's more of a 0.5 edition, a Mark II, as opposed to a completely like new camera. So earlier we did a bit of fishing, now we're gonna hunt. So we're gonna be looking for interesting subjects, trying to find stories, trying to be quick, trying to be reactive, and just generally like constantly moving around. Interesting people, where are you at? I like how this newspaper's like flipping around. So we're just going to buzz around from corner to corner, see what's going on, see if there's any interesting characters, see if there's any scenes that develop, and just like keep on plodding away. So in our current direction of travel, all of our subjects are going to be backlit, which I quite like. Makes it feel a little cinematic, makes it feel, I don't know, I quite like it. I know a lot of street photographers like front lit, hard light. That is a sick outfit. So cool. I wish I could wear stuff like that, but as we agreed earlier, the street photography uniform, you're not allowed to deviate from. When you're shooting street, right, you've got to be so aware of everyone else. But if I'm ever not with a camera in hand, all I'm thinking about is like, right, what's on my to-do list? Where am I going? What am I doing? Which direction do I need to head in? And street photography is a complete antithesis of that. It's the exact opposite, where there is no purpose. It takes you out of yourself, out of your problems, and allows you to just get immersed in the world for what it actually is. We all, as humans, have so many patterns that we believe to be true. Then you can actually go out and like objectively look at things, and everything's much more beautiful, much more interesting, and you're not obsessed with yourself. And I feel like I need that. I often get too wrapped up in my own thoughts and goals and aspirations and everything else that modernity throws at us. Just doing the exact opposite, with no purpose, no timelines, no goal. It's kind of sick. Fujifilm files, for some reason, actually, hang around, come here. Fuck, my settings are way off. Obviously, red person front of red whoopee cushion. So for some reason, Fuji files in Lightroom suck. And obviously like the output, amazing, beautiful. But they just really grind your computer. I've got a decently spec'd MacBook. Fuji files, there just seems to be some sort of inner resistance within the computer to like actually do what you want. And so, because the files in this are much bigger, one thing I'm, I guess, like concerned about is like, is it going to be even slower trying to use these bigger 40 megapixel files as opposed to the, say, 6 megapixel files on the X100V? That's just a thought. We'll find out. The autofocus seems to be getting better. If anything, so far my experience has been slightly worse than the V, which surprised me. But it could just be conditions, could just be my biases towards being very used to the limitations of the V. I think the cameras are the same.
Pretzels are the same.
Is it a good photo or is it just hard to get? As photographers, we know which photos are hard to achieve. That doesn't make it a good photo, like an inherently good photo, right? It's like, would this be interesting to someone that wasn't a street photographer? It's like, well, if the answer's no, then like don't get so caught up in like the means of achieving it and focus much more on like your subject as opposed to how you get it. Is it for impressing other people? Or is it for capturing genuinely interesting and meaningful moments? So that is a day with the Fuji X100VI. And I think realistically, at the end of the day, it's pretty much the same as the V. I think that the IBIS allows us to shoot slow shutter stuff and gives us like maybe more creativity in that sense. But is it worth getting a new camera? I don't know. But I'd love to know your thoughts on what you think about the X100VI and whether you're going to be using it for hunting, you want it to be that super incognito camera, whether you're more of a fisher and you just love that sort of style of photography. Until next time, see you in the streets.